The heart monitor flatlines. Madame Yuna's body convulses once, then goes still. 32 doctors freeze like statues around the ICU bed, their expensive degrees suddenly worthless. Rain hammers against the floor-to-ceiling windows of Seoul Memorial West. Each drop a countdown nobody can stop. The machines scream. Someone shouts for atropine. Another voice demands epinephrine. Hands collide over 4 lines. A syringe clatters to the floor. Ryan Tae-hyun stands at the foot of his mother's bed, motionless. Black tattoos crawl up his throat like smoke frozen in skin. His suit is perfect. His face is carved stone. But his hands tremble just enough that everyone pretends not to notice. Clear the room. His voice cuts through the chaos like a blade through water. Nobody moves fast enough. Now, the doctors scatter. White coats blur past security guards who look like they bench press motorcycles for fun. Within seconds, only the chief neurologist remains, clipboard shaking in his grip. The old man's glasses fog with sweat. Mr. Tae-hyun, we've exhausted every protocol. You told me she had 72 hours. Ryan's eyes don't blink. That was 6 hours ago. Hi viewers, kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. The neurologist's mouth opens, closes, opens again. Her body is rejecting stabilization. Every intervention triggers cardiac arrest. We've never seen anything like. Ryan raises one finger. The doctor goes silent, so fast his teeth click. Outside, lightning splits the sky. For 3 seconds, the backup generators kick in and the room goes dark except for the glow of dying monitors. When the lights return, Madame Yuna looks smaller, frilier, like she's already halfway gone. Ryan moves to her bedside. His mother's hand feels cold in his. The woman who stitched up knife wounds in basement clinics. The woman who fed him rice when they had nothing else. The woman who never once asked where the money came from after he turned 16. Iomioni, he whispers. The word breaks in his throat. Her eyelids flutter but don't open. The monitor shows a heartbeat, so Weekit barely registers. A nurse bursts through the door, face flushed. Sir, we have a code situation in. Get out. She vanishes. Ryan pulls out his phone. His thumb hovers over a contact, labeled only with a single red dot. The kind of call that starts wars. The kind of call that makes people disappear. But before he can press it, the chief neurologist clears his throat. There is one thing. The old man's voice shakes. Experimental. Unproven. The medical board would never approve. I don't care about boards. Ryan's stare could burn holes through steel. What is it? A neurocardiac reset. It requires someone with an intuitive understanding of trauma response. Not training. Instinct. The doctor removes his glasses, wipes them with trembling fingers. The problem is, we don't have anyone like that on staff. Then find someone. Sir, even if such a person existed, the window is. The heart monitor's beeping slows. Stretches. Each gap between sounds feels like falling. Ryan's jaw clenches. His free hand curls into a fist, so tight his knuckles go white. Around them, Los Angeles spreads out like a grid of lights and secrets. Millions of people who have no idea that in this single room, a storm is about to break. How long does she have? Ryan's voice drops to barely a whisper. The neurologist checks his watch, swallows hard. Minutes, maybe less. And that's when the overhead speaker crackles to life. ICU override. Room 512. All available personnel respond immediately. Far below, in the ambulance bay, elevator doors slide open. Yellow emergency jacket. Braided hair tied up neat. A medical pack almost too big for small shoulders. 12 years old and completely unaware that she's about to walk into a moment that will rewrite everything. Do you believe some people are born to save lives? Drop a comment below. Zeri Caldwell's sneakers squeak on the polished hospital floor. She's not supposed to be here. Her shift ended 2 hours ago. But the EMT supervisor radioed about a misplaced trauma kit, and Zeri never leaves equipment unaccounted for. That's the rule. You check everything twice. You never assume. A nurse sprints past her, nearly knocking her sideways. Then another. Then a doctor moving so fast his stethoscope swings like a pendulum. Something's wrong. Zeri's been around emergency medicine long enough to recognize the specific rhythm of panic. She adjusts the strap of her medical pack and keeps walking. 3rd floor. ICU storage. That's where the kid should be. Hey kid, wait. A Filipino nurse with kind eyes and stress lines grabs Zeri's shoulder. Her name tag reads Garcia. You cleared for ICU access? Only if someone needs help. Zeri's voice is calm, steady, the way her grandmother taught her before the cancer took her voice. Nurse Garcia hesitates. Her eyes scan Zeri's face like she's trying to solve an equation. Then the overhead speaker screams again. ICU 512. Critical override. This is not a drill. Garcia's grip tightens. Come with me. Don't touch anything. Don't speak unless someone asks you a direct question. Understand? Zeri nods. They move through corridors that smell like antiseptic and fear. Past security checkpoints where men in black suits watch everyone with dead eyes. Past a waiting area where nobody's actually waiting because everyone's been cleared out. The elevator ride up feels longer than it should. Garcia's breath comes fast and shallow. Who's the patient? Zeri asks. Someone important. Garcia doesn't elaborate. The elevator dings. 5th floor. The doors slide open onto chaos. Doctors everywhere. Nurses running with equipment. Machines wheeled at sprinting speed. At the center of it all, a single room with its door propped open by a crash cart. Light spills out harsh and clinical. Voices overlap in desperate harmony. Blood pressure dropping. Push another round. She's not responding. Zeri follows Garcia through the gauntlet. Nobody stops them. Everyone's too focused on the crisis unfolding inside room 512. When they cross the threshold, the temperature seems to drop 10 degrees. An old woman lies in the bed, skin pale as moonlight. Monitors everywhere, for lines tangled like spider webs. And surrounding her, more doctors than Zeri's ever seen in one place. They move like a coordinated machine that's forgotten how its parts fit together. But that's not what makes Zeri's breath catch. It's the man standing at the foot of the bed. Tall, stone-faced, tattoos crawling up his neck in patterns that look like they mean something. His suit probably costs more than Zeri's entire house. He doesn't move, doesn't speak, but every person in the room knows he's there. Knows he's watching, knows that failure has consequences. Garcia whispers in Zeri's ear, "Stay near the wall. Don't make eye contact." Zeri nods, but doesn't look away from the dying woman. There's something wrong with how the doctors are treating her. They're following protocols, sure, but protocols for the wrong condition. Zeri can see it in the way the patient's chest rises and falls, the specific flutter of her eyelids, the way her fingers twitch in microspasms. A doctor barks orders. Prepare for intubation. Wait. The word leaves Zeri's mouth before she can stop it. The room goes silent so fast it feels like someone sucked all the air out. 32 pairs of eyes turn toward her, including the tattooed man's. His gaze feels like standing in front of a train that hasn't decided whether to stop. The chief neurologist's face goes red. Who authorized the child? But before he can finish, the heart monitor alarm screams louder. And Madame Yuna's vitals drop so fast the numbers blur. Everything happens at once. 3 doctors lunge for the crash cart. 2 more grab intubation equipment. Someone yells about compressions. Another voice demands more epinephrine. Hands everywhere. Commands overlapping until they stop meaning anything. The machines shriek like wounded animals. Zeri watches it all with growing horror. They're making it worse. She can see it in the way Madame Yuna's body tenses with each new intervention. The way her blood pressure spikes, then crashes. The way her breathing becomes more irregular, not less. They're treating symptoms instead of the source. Pushing medications into a system that's already overloaded. Trying to force a body to cooperate when it's locked in fight or flight paralysis. Stop. Zeri's voice is small but clear. Nobody hears her. Or maybe they choose not to. A doctor prepares to inject something directly into the foreline. Zeri recognizes the vial. Beta blocker. It'll slow the heart even more. She moves without thinking, darting between two nurses, reaching out. A hand catches her wrist mid-air. She looks up into the face of the tattooed man. Up close, his eyes are dark brown, almost black. There's no anger in them, no threat, just intense, focused attention, like he's reading her the way she reads patients. "Speak," he says quietly. The room goes still. Doctors frozen mid-motion, nurses holding their breath. Even the rain outside seems to pause. Zeri swallows hard. Her heart isn't failing, it's drowning. The chief neurologist scoffs. "That's not a medical term. Let her finish." The tattooed man's voice is soft, but absolute. Zeri forces herself to focus on the dying woman instead of the terrifying man still holding her wrist. She's stuck in a neurocardiac loop. Her nervous system thinks it's under attack, so it's shutting down everything non-essential. Every time you try to stabilize her, her body reads it as a threat and crashes harder. You're fighting her instead of helping her. Silence. The neurologist shakes his head. That's not how cardiac episodes work. It is if the trigger isn't physical. Zeri looks at the monitors again. Look at her brain activity. See those spikes? They're matching her heart rate drops. She's trapped in a fear response, so deep her body's trying to hibernate. You can't shock someone awake when they're this far under. You have to guide them back. A younger doctor leans in, studying the monitors with fresh eyes. She's right. The patterns match acute dissociative response. "How did you? Can you fix it?" The tattooed man asks Zeri directly. Every doctor in the room stiffens. The chief neurologist looks like he might pass out. Someone mutters something about liability. Another voice mentions medical licensing, but the man ignores all of it. His focus stays locked on Zeri. "I don't know," Zeri admits, "but what you're doing isn't working." The heart monitor dips again. Lower. The oxygen saturation drops into dangerous territory. Madame Yuna's lips are turning blue. The tattooed man releases Zeri's wrist, steps back, looks at the chief neurologist. "Everyone out except her." "Sir, we cannot allow an unlicensed minor." Ow! The word isn't loud, but carries weight that makes grown men move. Doctors file toward the door, some protesting weakly, others silent and pale. Nurses follow. Security guards shift but don't interfere. Within 30 seconds, only 3 people remain in the room. The dying woman, the dangerous man, and a 12-year-old girl in a yellow jacket. Zeri approaches the bed slowly. Her hands shake. She's assisted in emergencies before, held pressure on wounds, helped with CPR, but she's never been fully responsible, never been the last option. She reaches for Madame Yuna's wrist, fingers finding the pulse point. Weak, thready, barely there, but present, still fighting. "Ma'am," Zeri whispers, leaning close to the woman's ear. "If you can hear me, I need you to trust me." The monitors don't change. Zeri closes her eyes, thinks back to her grandmother's final days. The way words stopped working, the way only touch could reach through the fog. She begins tapping on Madame Yuna's wrist. Slow, rhythmic. 3 beats, then pause. 3 beats, pause. The heart monitor wavers. Just slightly, but it wavers. Tap, tap, tap. Zeri keeps the rhythm steady, her small fingers pressed against Madame Yuna's pulse point. She learned this from an EMT who worked disaster zones. When words fail, touch speaks. When the mind locks up, the body still listens to patterns. 3 taps means safe. 3 taps means someone's here. 3 taps means you're not alone. The heart monitor shifts. Not much, maybe half a percentage point. But after 20 minutes of straight decline, even a plateau feels like a miracle. Ryan Taehyun watches from the corner of the room. He hasn't moved, hasn't spoken, but his eyes track every motion Zeri makes. Every adjustment, every whispered word. This child who walked into his mother's death room and saw what 32 experts missed. "Ma'am, follow my rhythm," Zeri murmurs. "Don't fight it. Just let your heart find the pattern. Tap, 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 pause." The oxygen saturation ticks up, just 1 point, then another. Zeri reaches into her emergency pack with her free hand, pulling out a small tactile stimulation device. something most hospitals don't stock because it's used for PTSD responses, not cardiac events. But Zeri's grandmother taught her that trauma lives in the body, not just the mind. And sometimes the only way to unlock it is to remind the nervous system what safety feels like. She places the device against Madame Yuna's sternum, activating the gentle vibration. Combined with the tapping rhythm, it creates a dual sensory anchor, a way back from whatever edge the old woman is teetering on. "Your son is here," Zeri whispers, voice barely audible over the machines. "He's waiting for you. He needs you to come back." In the corner, Ryan's jaw tightens, almost imperceptibly. The heart monitor beeps. Then again, the rhythm stretches, stabilizes, holds. Blood pressure begins climbing, slowly, like a plant turning toward light. Brain activity spikes in the right patterns. Not the jagged panic from before. Organized. Responsive. Madame Yuna's eyelids flutter. Zeri doesn't stop the tapping. Doesn't break the rhythm. "That's it. Follow my voice. Follow the pattern. You're safe. Nobody's hurting you. Come back." The machines stop screaming. Alarms quiet one by one. The room fills with a different kind of sound. The steady, reliable beat of a heart that's decided to keep fighting. Madame Yuna's fingers twitch. Her chest rises deeper. Her lips move, forming a word without sound. Zeri leans closer. What was that? The old woman's eyes crack open. Dark brown, clouded with exhaustion but alive. Fully, completely alive. Her gaze moves past Zeri, finding her son in the corner. "Ryan." The word comes out as barely a breath, but it lands like thunder. Do you believe some people are born healers? Tell us in the comments. Ryan crosses the room in 3 strides, drops to his knees beside the bed. Something Zeri suspects he hasn't done in years, maybe decades. His hand engulfs his mother's, and for just a moment, the most dangerous man in Los Angeles looks like a child who thought he'd lost everything. "I'm here, Iomioni." His voice cracks. Actually cracks. Madame Yuna's lips curve into the faintest smile. "You worry too much. You stopped breathing. Storms don't last." She squeezes his hand with strength that shouldn't be possible for someone who was clinically dying 5 minutes ago. "Somebody taught me that once." Zeri backs away slowly, giving them space. Her hands still shake from adrenaline. Her heart hammers against her ribs. She just saved someone's life. Not assisted, not helped, saved. The weight of it makes her knees weak. She's almost to the door when Ryan speaks without turning around. "Stay." It's not a request, but it's not quite a command either. Something in between. Zeri stays. Outside the ICU window, the storm breaks. Rain slows to drizzle. Lightning moves on to bother some other city. And in the hallway beyond the door, 32 doctors stand in complete silence, staring at the monitors that show the impossible. A patient who should be dead is awake, talking, smiling, because of a 12-year-old girl in a yellow jacket. One doctor pulls out his phone, takes a photo of the monitor readings. Another starts whispering to a colleague. A third just shakes his head in disbelief. But one, a younger attending with expensive shoes and a bruised ego, stares at the ICU door with something darker than confusion. Something that looks a lot like resentment. He reaches into his pocket, pulls out a phone, sends a single text message. The girl is the key. News travels fast in hospitals. In criminal empires, it travels faster. By the time Madame Yuna is stable enough to move to a private recovery suite, word has already reached every corner of the Iron Circle. A child saved the boss's mother. A child accomplished what the best doctor's money could buy couldn't. Some hear it as a miracle. Others hear it as humiliation. And in the shadows where rival syndicates watch and wait, they hear it as opportunity. Zeri sits in the hallway outside the recovery room, legs swinging from a chair too tall for her. Her emergency pack rests between her feet. She should leave, go home. Her mom's probably worried sick. But every time she stands up, her legs feel like jelly. The adrenaline crash is hitting hard. A nurse, Garcia, the kind one from before, brings her a juice box and crackers. "You did good, kid. Is she really okay?" Zeri asks. Her vitals are better than they've been in days. Garcia sits down beside her. "Whatever you did in there, it worked." The doctors are calling it spontaneous remission. But we both know better. Zeri pokes the straw through the juice box. Takes a sip. I just help her remember how to breathe. That's more than 32 specialists could figure out. Garcia's voice goes quiet. Be careful, though. Not everyone's happy about what happened. I heard doctors arguing about whether to report it. Some think you practice medicine without a license. I didn't practice anything. Zeri stops. She doesn't know how to explain it. How sometimes she can feel what's wrong with someone before they say a word. How patterns speak to her in ways that don't make sense until after. I just paid attention. Garcia pats her shoulder and stands. That's a dangerous skill in a place like this. Watch yourself. She walks away, leaving Zeri alone with her thoughts and the distant sound of machines keeping someone alive. The recovery room door opens. Ryan steps out, and the temperature in the hallway seems to drop. He spots Zeri immediately, walks toward her with footsteps that don't make any sound. Up close, he's even more intimidating, tall enough that Zeri has to tilt her head back to see his face. But when he speaks, his voice is gentler than before. She wants to meet you. Zeri's eyes widen. Me? She knows you saved her life. I didn't. I just helped. Cool, mate. He turns and walks back toward the room, clearly expecting her to follow. Zeri grabs her pack and hurries after him. Inside the recovery suite, Madame Yuna lies propped up on pillows and forward her arm, but color back in her cheeks. She looks small in the hospital bed, fragile, but her eyes are sharp and warm. Come here, child, she says in accented English, gesturing Zeri closer. Zeri approaches slowly, respectfully, the way her grandmother taught her to treat elders. Madame Yuna studies her face for a long moment, then smiles. You have a gift, not for books, from something deeper. My grandma was a nurse, Zeri offers quietly. She taught me to listen. Yuna nods. That is the rarest skill. My son. She glances at Ryan, who stands near the window like a statue. He forgets to listen sometimes, too busy being strong. Ryan doesn't respond, but something in his expression shifts. Just barely. Yuna reaches out, takes Zeri's hand. Her grip is surprisingly firm. Thank you for giving me more time. You're welcome. Zeri's throat tightens with unexpected emotion. Go home now. Your mother will worry. Yuna releases her hand. But we will not forget what you did. Zeri nods, backing toward the door. But before she leaves, she turns to Ryan. Make sure she rests. No stress. And have someone check her medication history. Something triggered this. Ryan's eyes narrow slightly. You think it wasn't natural? It's not a question. It's confirmation that he'd already been thinking the same thing. I don't know, Zeri admits. But her body reacted like it was defending against poison, not disease. Silence stretches between them. Ryan processes this information with the stillness of someone who's used to sorting threats from noise. Then he nods once. I'll look into it. Zeri leaves before she says anything else. Before she gets pulled deeper into something that feels dangerous in ways she doesn't fully understand. She makes it to the elevator, presses the button for the ground floor. The doors start to close. A hand stops them. The young doctor from earlier, the one with expensive shoes and bruised ego, steps inside, smiles at Zeri in a way that doesn't reach his eyes. Impressive work up there. Thanks. Zeri moves to the corner of the elevator. Must feel good, being a hero. His tone is friendly. Too friendly. I bet a lot of people will want to know your name now. The elevator descends in uncomfortable silence. When the doors open, the doctor steps out first. Pauses, looks back at Zeri. Be careful, kid. This city isn't kind to people who stand out. He walks away before Zeri can respond. She exits into the night air, pulling her jacket tight. The rain has stopped, but the streets are still wet, reflecting streetlights in fractured patterns. Somewhere in the distance, sirens wail. Los Angeles never really sleeps. Zeri heads toward the bus stop, her emergency pack heavy on her shoulders. She's exhausted, confused. And despite saving someone's life, she feels a growing unease she can't name. Back in the hospital, in a darkened office on the second floor, the young doctor makes a phone call. It's done. They know about the girl. She lives at 847 Maple, Section 8 housing. Mother's sick. No father in the picture. A voice on the other end asks a question. The doctor smiles. Yes, she'll be easy to find. The brick crashes through Zeri's bedroom window at 2:47 a.m. Glass explodes inward. Zeri jerks awake, rolling off the mattress by instinct. Her mother screams from the next room. Footsteps pound up the apartment stairs outside. Multiple sets. Heavy boots. Zeri crawls toward her door, heart slamming against her ribs. Through the broken window, she sees 3 figures in the parking lot below, watching, waiting. Her mother bursts in, eyes wild. We need to leave. Now. Mom, what's... Now, Zeri. They grab nothing. No clothes. No photos. Just Zeri's emergency pack by the door and her mother's purse. They take the back stairs, the ones that smell like mold and cigarettes. Behind them, the front door splinters. Men's voices echo through the building. Outside, rain starts again. Zeri's mother pulls her toward the bus stop, but headlights swing around the corner. A black SUV, then another. They run, through alleys, past dumpsters. Zeri's lungs burn. Her mother's breathing comes ragged. The illness makes running impossible. They duck into a 24-hour laundromat, hide between washers. The SUVs cruise past slowly. Zeri's phone vibrates. Unknown number. The text reads, "You should have stayed invisible. Did they just make a terrible mistake?" Drop your thoughts below. Subscribe and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what happens next. Share this story and inspire someone today. Nurse Garcia finds them 3 hours later, shivering in the hospital parking garage. Get in. She opens her car door, face grim. Zeri's mother hesitates. We don't want to involve. You're already involved. Move. They drive in silence through pre-dawn Los Angeles. Garcia keeps checking the rearview mirror, takes random turns, doubles back twice, finally pulls into an underground parking structure downtown. 5th floor, apartment 5G, doors unlocked. Garcia hands Zeri's mother a key card. Don't leave. Don't open the door for anyone except me, or, she pauses, or someone with this. She shows them a photo on her phone, a tattoo pattern, the same pattern Zeri saw crawling up Ryan's neck. Why are you helping us? Zeri asks. Garcia's expression hardens. Because hospitals aren't supposed to be war zones, and children aren't supposed to be targets. She pulls away before they can ask more questions. The apartment is small but clean. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, windows facing a brick wall. Zeri's mother collapses onto the couch, coughing hard. Mom, you need your medication. Left it. Her mother's voice rattles. We left everything. Zeri dumps out her emergency pack. Bandages, gauze, antiseptic, a few over-the-counter pills. Nothing that helps with chronic respiratory failure. Her mother needs prescriptions they can't afford to replace. Zeri stares at her phone. The unknown number hasn't texted again, but 6 missed calls show from the hospital. 2 voicemails from numbers she doesn't recognize. She deletes them all. What would you do to protect your family? Como pido? Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. The next chapter drops soon. Share this story and let's inspire others together. The knock comes at noon. 3 sharp raps. Zeri freezes mid-step. Her mother sits up from the couch, eyes wide with fear. It's Garcia. A voice calls through the door. Open up. But it's not Garcia's voice. It's Ryan's. Zeri approaches slowly. Checks the peephole. Ryan stands alone in the hallway. Hands visible. No weapon. Behind him, 2 men in suits wait by the elevator. She opens the door crack. Your mother needs medication. Ryan holds up a pharmacy bag. May I come in? Zeri's mother appears behind her. How did you? Garcia told me. He steps inside without waiting for permission, setting the bag on the kitchen counter. Everything on your prescription list, plus antibiotics and an inhaler. He pulls out bottles one by one. Zeri checks the labels. All correct. All prescribed to her mother's name. What? Zeri asks. Ryan's dark eyes settle on her. You saved my mother's life. I protect what's mine. We're not yours. You became mine the moment you walked into that ICU. His voice carries no threat, just certainty. The people who came to your apartment work for someone who doesn't want my mother alive. They think you're leverage. Zeri's stomach drops. We led them to you. No, they were always coming. Ryan moves to the window, checking the street below. But now they've made it personal. Her mother takes the medication with shaking hands, swallows pills, uses the inhaler. Color slowly returns to her face. What do we do? She asks quietly. Ryan turns from the window. You stay here until I handle it. Handle what? The doctor who gave them your address. His expression doesn't change. And everyone he told. Is revenge ever justified? Tell us what you think. Subscribe now and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next chapter. Share this story. It might inspire someone who needs it today. The young doctor's body washes up in the Los Angeles River 3 days later. Accidental drowning, the police report says. Too much alcohol. Slipped and fell. These things happen, but Zeri knows better. She sits in the safe house apartment, watching news coverage on her phone. Her mother sleeps in the next room, finally resting without coughing. Garcia brings groceries every morning. Ryan hasn't returned since that first day. Until now, he appears in the doorway like a shadow, gaining form. Pack your things. Where are we going? Zeri asks. Somewhere safer. He hands her a folder. Inside, new identification cards, social security numbers, birth certificates. Your names are different now. Your history is different. This apartment doesn't exist on any official record. Zeri stares at the documents. Her photo, a stranger's name. You're erasing us. I'm protecting you. Ryan crouches down to her eye level. The people who wanted you dead aren't gone. They're just waiting. So you disappear. New school, new neighborhood, new life. What about my mom's job? My friends? Your mother has a new job at a pharmacy I own. Better pay, full benefits. Your friends will forget you existed in 6 months. His voice softens slightly. It's not fair, but it keeps you breathing. Zeri's throat tightens. And what do you get? Insurance. Ryan stands. My mother is alive because of you. That debt doesn't expire. Someday, I might need someone who sees what others miss. Someone who can't be bought. I'm 12. You won't always be. The weight of his words settles like stones in her chest. He's not recruiting her. He's claiming her future, shaping it, controlling it. What if I say no? Zeri whispers. Ryan's expression doesn't change. Then I find another way to keep you safe. But the debt remains. He leaves before she can argue, before she can scream, before she can do anything except stare at the fake ID with her real face and wonder who she's supposed to be now. Her mother wakes up coughing. Zeri brings water, medicine, silence. Outside, Los Angeles keeps moving. Millions of people living lives that make sense. Lives with names that belong to them. Lives without debts written in blood. Zeri looks at the ID again. Her new name stares back. Would you accept this deal? Let us know in the comments. Subscribe and turn on notifications. The final chapter is coming, and you won't believe how this ends. Share this story and inspire someone today. 6 months later, Zeri Caldwell, now Zeri Morrison, stand in a new school hallway. Different building, different students, same yellow emergency jacket. She's kept one thing from her old life. Just one. The EMT supervisor at her mother's new pharmacy lets her volunteer on weekends. Riding in ambulances, learning advanced techniques, studying trauma response in ways that make seasoned paramedics uncomfortable because she's too young to understand death this intimately. But she does understand. She understood the moment Madame Yuna's heart stopped. She understood when the brick shattered her window. She understood when Ryan handed her a new identity and called it protection. Some debts don't get paid with money. Some get paid in choices you make years later when the person you owe comes calling. Zeri walks to her new locker, opens it. A small envelope falls out. No name, no return address. Inside, a single card with an embossed red dot. She knows what it means. Someday, when she's old enough, trained enough, skilled enough, the debt comes due. She tucks the card into her jacket pocket, closes the locker, heads to class like nothing happened. Because in this new life, nothing did happen. Zeri Caldwell saved a woman's life and disappeared. Zeri Morrison is just another kid trying to survive high school. But late at night, when her mother sleeps and the city hums beyond their window, Zeri pulls out the card, studies the red dot, wonders what she'll become when that phone finally rings. A healer who saves lives? Or something darker that Los Angeles needs? She doesn't know yet, but the choice is already made. It was made the moment she walked into that ICU and refused to stay silent. Some people are born to save lives. Others are born to protect them. And some are born to do both, no matter the cost. What do you think Zeri will become? Drop your answer in the comments. Subscribe and turn on notifications. We have more incredible stories coming that you won't want to miss. Share this story and inspire someone who needs hope today. Your support means everything.